Let's do a guided meditation.
Okay, now for the guided meditation.
Please make sure you are sitting comfortably. Your feet flat on the floor and your hands palm up.
Yes, we are ready. Ready now to call Ed Amon. Are you ready, Master?
And
Sifu.
take a deep breath in.
Feel the inspiration.
Oh, there's the music. I'm calm already.
I'm calm and I will call Ed Amon.
Hello, skipper. Hello, navigator. Half a minute to go. Okay.
Edamon.
Coming to you live from COVID-19 headquarters. Must FaceTime. Audio.
Calling Edamon.
Hello.
Coming to you live from the COVID-19 headquarters. It's Rob and Steve calling you from self-isolation.
You heard it here first, folks. Are you there?
Hi. I'm there.
Hello?
We didn't scare you off.
Hello, are you there?
I wanted to put in like an awkward pause in there.
It worked.
It worked. How are you, man?
I'm great, fantastic. You guys sound great. How am I sounding at the other end?
I'm going to see if I can turn you up a little.
Turn them up.
Say something again.
I'm the greatest man alive until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's much better.
Until tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
Well, then I won't be the greatest man alive. Somebody else.
Well, it's only fair that people take a turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Is this where we welcome ourselves to your podcast? Because we are recording, sir. We are recording.
All right. So thank you for having me on your podcast again.
No. We're, no, bro, we're on your podcast.
Are we on yours? We're on yours.
Okay,
Yeah.
so welcome to my podcast.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
We should tell people that we're recording from our Reality Hub studio. But we were going to catch up with you today, but we all decided to self-isolate.
Yeah.
So I'm Stephen, this is Rob.
Hey.
And we're honored to phone you to be on your episode.
Our two podcasts unite.
Yeah. Two podcasts unite against a common enemy. We have no idea what the enemy is.
We were just talking about that.
It's invisible.
Invisible. And I've been a bad host. I should be introducing you to my people.
Well, it would be an honor to meet your people.
Indeed.
All right. So my people are usually in their pajamas right now. So please welcome to the podcast. We don't have Renee as a regular host today because obviously she's been isolating herself as well. And we just thought that just in case things happen, we need, an extra supply of hosts for Baboon Yodel. So we're testing other people out, and we're happy to have one of our good friends, Stephen Brunton, here from the podcast Reality Hub.
Woohoo!
Hi. Now, and joining Stephen is the one of the most handsome people I know.
Oh, stop it.
Who has a very an aura of amazingness around them. It's good that we are not doing this live sitting together, so Rob might be blushing, but
so you can control yourself.
Yeah. So Rob's with us as well. Yeah, both Stephen and Rob are hosts of a very good, fantastic podcast, Reality Hub. Please sign up, listen, give your views, send some hate mail.
Thanks. I've got the perfect solution for this wonderful introduction because we have no audience and all around the world people no longer have studio audiences. So we've just brought our own sound effects. This is a crowd. See? So
thank you so much. And also most of the things are being cancelled all around the world. That means we have more than any live audience, you can say,
Yeah.
In any case, we have less than other podcasts, but we are good. So how you guys feeling out there in Avondale Heights?
Well, the Avondale Heights studio, right next to the railway line, in case you hear one go past. Although I think they've cut services in light of the lack of numbers on the trains right now. We're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. Although we just delved deep into this whole situation.
All right.
So, and we went off on as we do here at Reality Hub. We go off on different tangents and we try and look at different perspectives and come at it at different angles.
Yeah.
But far out, man. It's a funny one, eh? These are strange times.
This is a strange time. As strange as it can get for the time. I mean, the thing is that any time we live in, we always call it a strange time. Like a couple of months back, when all the left wing and right wing and all that stuff was happening, everybody was saying that, we're in a strange time at that time as well. So I always think that it's always a strange time, but it's strange in a different sense now, is that everybody is kind of facing the same problem. Yeah.
It's so global. Everyone's in the same situation. It's not localized in one country or one area.
Yeah, I find that really surreal.
Yeah, that's everyone's talking about it. Like the people you meet in the streets, or it's just inundated in every news outlet or media, social media. It's just everywhere.
I find it strange that I'm looking at podcasts around the world because, we make a podcast, we listen to the Baboon Yodel podcast, we listen to other great podcasts around the world like the Joe Rogan Experience, and watching them with their video ones talk about being in isolation and seeing the way they look about it. It's like, we're all doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all doing this. And I'll just like to clarify for my audience, we are talking about coronavirus. We're not.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Trump's election.
Yeah,
it's not an election talk. It's I guess everybody would have guessed it, and I'm quite. It's one of those times where a lot of people's knowledge of things is coming out, or ignorance of things is coming out as well. And I was trying to read the news because for Baboon Yodel, I tried to find offbeat topics or other light stuff that we talk about, but there's nothing there. I mean, last episode we did with Renee, I couldn't find any news. So we talked about the news where a lady on the internet, on Facebook, had found a way to remove grime from sinks using tinfoil. And we had a lot of fun.
Tinfoil. Or for the Americans, aluminum.
Aluminum, and it was a great time. So it was quite refreshing talking about that.
Yeah, because your podcast often gets funny news of the day, and I just think it's ironic that often you talk about humorous stories to do with Tom Hanks, and now it's one of the saddest stories of all is he's in isolation with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in isolation, and he's hopefully he gets better because he's one of my favorite actors as well. He's a nice guy, I've heard. So
yeah, I've heard too.
Hey, just talking on celebrities, you mentioned something today via our Facebook interaction.
Fucking hell! I hate those celebrities.
Pretty much sums it up. Christ. Like, what was going on with that? Because I'm getting a bit over the, hey, I'm self-isolating. This is how you should be self-isolating. And I'm in these big mansions and I got all this resources and money and stuff. And I've got amusement parks in my backyard kind of thing.
Luckily, I have my supply of protein powder here in my mansion with my miniature horses.
Yeah. If I run out of food, I will kill the miniature horses.
Yeah.
It's good protein, you see.
It's good protein.
Yeah. So you say
donkey meat. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So this is really touching a nerve with you. Why is that? Can I ask?
It is touching a nerve for me because I see here, I do comedy on the side, And with all our gigs getting cancelled, and all the festival got cancelled, Melbourne Comedy Festival got cancelled, our own New Zealand festival got cancelled, the comedy club's going to be shut down soon, and it's just that the thing is that would have been our only avenue left for struggling comedians, struggling actors, struggling sketch artists, but what has happened now right away, these people who have gone into isolation with millions of dollars, and they can stay in isolation for millions of years, they've just started putting out, I would say, crappy content. And it's just now nobody,
some of it is, man.
Oh, the worst.
So some, and also, I mean, it will be bad for the people who are struggling, who are trying to make a space in people's minds through their creative work, rather than just having fun and singing a song. And did you see that song by multiple celebrity artists, and then they sang each line of John Lennon's?
Oh, you mean Gal Gadot?
Oh my god!
The Imagine
oh my
thing,
god!
yeah.
I got 3 lines deep, and I had to stop, and I pulled out. I was like, "This is horrendous." Was the rest of it bad? Because I just from that moment, I was like, "This is so shite."
Man, the rest of it, if you had listened to like 2 more lines, you would have started having symptoms of coronavirus. So
I was on the border of nauseatingly embarrassing moment. I was just about going to top myself.
And don't get me wrong, I love Gal.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
They all are great celebrities. They all do great work. But
who convinced them to do that shit? Who said, "I'll tell you what, this would be a good idea"?
Yeah, they thought that it's going to be like one of those "we are the world" type of moments, but I think it's
"we are the world." Yeah, we'll all join in
through the internet.
Yeah,
so it's so I'm you can say that, you can say sour grapes kind of thing. It's like I'm a sore loser, tall poppy syndrome. But fuck them.
Fuck them. Fuck them. What was it you were saying earlier today, Rob, about Ellen DeGeneres?
Oh, not her, but just the whole celebrity, how, in the face of this global pandemic crisis, this whole self-isolation, they're sitting in their mansions and they're kind of trying to be funny, but they're almost, I don't know, I just took it the wrong way. It's like, you have all the resources, you have all this money, you have, what about the people that are living from paycheck to paycheck, that are truly struggling and truly going to lose their jobs, everything?
Yeah.
I mean, they're sort of telling us this, kind of making light of it. Hey, this is what we do. I'm kind of bored and stuff. And
that's what it was. That's what you said. I'm sitting here on my bed.
I'll call up so-and-so,
bored.
Another celebrity, and hey, what do you do? I'm so bored too, kind of thing. It's like bullshit.
They're really relating to us.
Like, it's like they pushed the play button. Everyone's pushed the same play button. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Look at my cat. Look at my cat's board as well. I'm going to play piano for my cat. It's going to be so great.
I just saw that on the news. It was Anthony Hopkins playing piano with his cat.
Yeah. And that was one of the better ones, because he didn't say anything. He just playing piano.
Yeah. Well, he looked like, oh, what's this? My smartphone has a front-facing camera. I might just turn that on. He looked like the look on his face was, I've just discovered technology.
He'll be posting lots of stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is that the thing is, now it's not baboon yodel type talk. It's more of a reality help type talk that I'm going to do now.
Okay.
So it's so what's going to happen? This is like an initial part of it. This is going to last for some time.
Yeah,
according to my thinking.
Yeah.
Now, this is the initial burst of it, that all these celebrities, what they're doing. The thing is that without any sort of monetary remuneration coming through this, right? Through time, they will get bored of this as well. And then it will weigh in on them that, okay, the actual work that they used to do is not coming through and all the fun time is over. And then they would need help of other people. So hopefully that time doesn't come. But I have a feeling that this is an initial burst of everybody just putting out videos of their self-isolation starting. So when the self-isolation ends after 14 days, but the country is still in lockdown, what the hell are you going to do?
I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do. They're going to all start podcasts.
Yeah, and then we will, again, the same thing, same reason I said before, then we are going to be fucked because then there are going to be a Anthony Hopkins podcast and Will Ferrell podcast and Gal Gadot podcast, and everybody will be listening to those. And people like us who talk sane, deep stuff, not on Baboon Yodel, but on Reality Hub, will kind of miss out because of just the celebrity power of people talking shit coming on podcasts.
So I have a different take on that.
Yeah.
I think the podcast industry has steadily risen over the last few years consistently to the point that the last stat I heard was 700,000 plus podcasts exist in the world. And that's an out-of-date stat. So it's got to be higher by now. It might be 800,000. And as the world of podcasts has grown, the existing media paradigm hasn't, in most cases, kept up with it. You see a few people who are in the media, in the mainstream, who have gone, ooh, podcast is a real thing. And then they do one on the side, and it's a token gesture or an addendum or a supplement to their main gig. But the podcast world and its levels of fame, the Tim Harris, no, what's the Harris guy's name? Sam Harris and the Joe Rogans, even the Bert Kreischers and all of those guys, they are the top of the food chain. And you could probably name another 20 people who are super podcast stars internationally, and then you've got regional podcast stars, and those people who have been in film or have Trevor Noah and his Daily Show and all that sort of stuff. They're coming in new, and they carry with them a kind of celebrity status from another field, but they're not celebrities in this field. Well, so they will struggle a bit,
but they'll drag in their followers and audience.
Yeah, they will.
With
it's going to have a bit of both.
I hope you're right, because I'm a big fan of Conan O'Brien. Was a late night.
He's a
show
smart
host.
guy.
He's an extremely smart guy, and then last year he started a podcast with big guests as well. And then he was quite open talking about his viewers. He was saying nobody's listening to this. And in one of the episodes, somebody said, "Oh, we just crossed 1 million downloads," and I was like, "Oh, fuck!" And it's one of those things that it will happen that when people start coming in, and but then it then presents a challenge for us to create our own niche. And
with Reality Hub, and this goes across the board, we have the saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. So what we're trying to impart and what we talk about will have our own audience and following.
Yeah.
So
we talk about some interesting and weird things. So interesting and weird people find that good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy listening to it. Sometimes I listen to some things I don't disagree, but I still enjoy it. Listen to everything you guys say.
Yeah. Well, of course you're going to disagree with things. So, some of the things I say, I disagree with after I said them.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Well, what's happening with the? So who of are you, Stephen? You're not single, of course. Rob, are you? It's a personal question. I'll put it out there. Are you single?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
By choice or by?
Yeah, by choice.
Okay.
How long have you got? This is like a 3-4 hour episode in itself.
We'll talk about that when I come on Reality Hub. And
Discuss but I think I know where you're taking this.
Oh, where is he taking it? Where is he taking it?
If you would have read the messages, Steve.
Oh, jeez, Louise! You guys and the messages. Okay,
how to find love during a pandemic.
Oh, you're taking. I get that was the worst news article in the world, Ed.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it was a headline: "How to find love in the pandemic."
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Its subtitle was twice as long as the headline, and the actual article of the news was 2 sentences.
Yeah, and it was total bullshit, the whole thing. But then, what it triggered was because the thing is that I'm married, I've got a wife, and I'm quite fulfilled in my emotional needs, etc. In that kind of situation, and there's sex as well. So,
but you had to add that. I mean, because I was thinking that anyway.
Yeah, we gotta. Otherwise, it will be too spiritual, and there would be no reason to get married. So, my thing was that initially everybody is happy. Some people are kind of happy that it's just self-isolation. We're just sitting at home, and But when that human instinct kicks in, how are people gonna? If this is a long-term thing, like 4 months, 6 months, 5 months, a year, how are people gonna meet or chat or talk to each other, or then have any kind of physical contact in terms of romantic situation?
Well, the Illuminati want us to all be in test tubes.
You're going down that route now.
No, I'm not going to. But that's a really good point.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, I suspect what they'll do is they'll have a lottery, and you'll be given your lot. You'll get a chance with 3 women, and
it'll be like a new game show. You go to a.
There will be a game show. Yes.
I can see it now. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be called Married at First Sight.
No, that's already around. Yeah. But you bring up a real valid point. What are you trying to get at? The fact that we're in uncharted waters, where normally when we seeking a relationship, we want to be face to face with someone because then we can. Yeah. I mean, it's just normal human behavior, part of the whole process. I mean,
and Tinder can only take you like so much.
I mean, I'm old fashioned, so I will only. Well, I mean, I have tried Tinder and online dating apps in the past, but I'm still a proponent of, obviously, you've got to meet this person face to face and start getting to know them in the flesh. I mean, obviously, it's just...
Well, people who are listeners of your show, Baboon Yodel, that we're on now, may not be aware that you came on our show and did the reality of arranged marriage. So I'm thinking, Ed, that maybe that's the future, arranged marriages.
Arranged marriage is the future. You just tell your mom will talk to someone, and they will talk to someone else, and then their word will spread like the virus, and then you'll find something. It's going to be great. It's the old days. Or if that doesn't work out, I mean, there's always porn, and then obviously you must have heard that Pornhub is giving out free memberships to people in lockdown in Italy. They didn't realize that the whole world might go into lockdown.
Yeah,
and that would be a hefty bandwidth to deal with.
And that made me feel quite jealous about that, not getting the free membership.
I never heard of that.
So but I used a VPN and got right around it. There's no problem.
But see, you logged in from Milan.
Yeah, from Milan. I thought that's the only Italian city I knew the name of. Yeah.
But do you think under the current circumstances that people are going to start wanting to use these dating apps and start using that as an excuse to sort of, I don't know, connect via it? Or
I mean, I guess people will start using it more.
Yeah.
And then they will have more they might just start having more regulations around it. So everybody will have like some kind of corona free number, and you just put it there. Oh, he's got a corona free number. Oh, well, let's get this guy.
Well, I think Bill Gates wanted everyone to be tested after the forced inoculations. I think you had what is it? China's got you're free for a day. Your test immediately shows that you're corona free, and you can go about the day wearing your tag, which illuminates signs like a positive happy face on your Fitbit type.
I thought it's an app you download, right?
Or an app.
Your current level, like we've got these new 4 levels of.
So do you want to go on a date with me tonight? Well, let me just check. You're corona free. Cool. Let's go out.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go out.
But that finishes at midnight when it's the old fashioned turns into a pumpkin and you've got to go home because obviously the new day rolls over, and then you're not corona free until you test it again.
Yeah, and because we still don't know if you can catch it again. There's not enough data to understand if you can catch it again. Is it something that like the common cold? We get the common cold. I
assume you can catch it again.
Yeah, I assume so too. So we have no idea. So that might not work, but it's
look, the thing, of course, is, and we just did a whole episode about this. If you have underlying health concerns, well, the common cold is a real concern. My mother, who was nearly 81 in August when she passed away, she had, as many 81-year-olds have, underlying health concerns, and the official cause of death on her death certificate, and I only looked at this a couple of days ago and it reminded me, was aspiration pneumonia. And aspiration pneumonia is one of the most common causes of death in the elderly who are ill or infirmed or bedridden, because basically a normal cold can become just too much for your system when it's immune compromised, and it takes you out, and it's really sad. And essentially this is all that COVID's doing for people in that age group, where it hits them pretty hard. But, just like watching your own mother pass away from a common cold can be pretty hard to accept. It's what you don't realize as a younger person is that's a really common way that people die when they're immune compromised, whether it was COVID or not.
And we don't have the actual stats on how many people had those predisposed health issues or compromised immune systems or whatever.
We're getting huge numbers reported of deaths overseas, but they're not telling us their comorbidities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, they generally would know that they are at a certain age, and at that age, there's more comorbidities. So at the moment, the most common thing that they are saying, there's a vast array of things that are quite understandably a possible reason to exacerbate your infection and later on take you to death. So so there's health, heart disease, blood pressure issues, renal issues. Also,
that's scary. Kidney issues is pretty interesting.
Yeah, because if you have kidney issues, that kind of compromises your immune system anyway. And then lung issues, people have emphysema or COPD. There's other things as well. Pneumonia is the thing that comes in the end that kills you. But the stuff that happens before is the thing that makes your lungs weak. So people who smoke, they are at great risk. People who have bronchitis or bronchiectasis, or this is very interesting for our baboon yodel ones, where I talk about shit and crap and poop. But this is one of those episodes that will be different.
It's shining a huge light.
Different times, Ed.
It's shining a huge light on the health of people in general across the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge test. Like, how healthy are you? What's your lifestyle like? What's your, we talk about relationship with your body, with your mind, with your emotions, and so this is really amplifying that, and it's going to be a real challenge for a lot of people, because they're it's the survival instinct's going to kick in and we talked a lot about the whole fear surrounding it.
There's like a young people stupidity syndrome that is going on at the moment.
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
And there's the
spring breakers, the spring break stupidity that we saw in the news the other night.
Well, the spring break one and the St. Patty's party in Otago where just besides the hospital, they have like a huge party with a lot of people just in a closed environment, which is very irresponsible. And the thing is that they were just thinking that, oh, it's fine, it's not going to kill us. But if you have it, it's not going to kill you, but you can give it to someone else who can die. And we are in New Zealand. Most of the people here are old, right? So we kind of need to understand what kind of risk we are protecting.
Yeah, it brings new meaning and new importance to the term aging population.
Well, yeah, they've already, like today, level 2 has been put in place, which is reduce, and that's the over 70 population. If you're over 70, you've got to basically stay at home.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just insane. When's your episode coming out?
Well, I was thinking with Rob today that the one that we just recorded, our sort of, I don't know if I know the name of it yet. We're thinking of the reality of your reality.
Yeah. Well, Mondays are
our usual one, but we only just had one come out on Thursday, and normally we're a weekly release. In light of the fact that we talked a lot about COVID-19, I think we'll have it come out soon. Yeah. Because a week old information is just too old in this environment.
That's completely true
for the topical stuff anyway.
Yeah, this is some behind the scenes talk for our Chilean listeners, which is fantastic.
Chilean.
Yeah, shout out to the Chileans.
We got like 13 Chilean listeners.
No,
I have no idea why they are listening to us, but they are. If you have like one Chilean person, you say that okay, they're using a VPN through Chile or something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But 13 people listening to Baboon Yodel through a VPN, that's a big, huge coincidence. So they're actual listeners.
That's a small cult. That's a small cult.
That's a small cult of people who are listening to Baboon Yodel for some reason. Either they completely hate us and one day we're going to be assassinated, or they love us.
Well, they're trying to pick the right time when to come into New Zealand, because if they do come to assassinate you, there's a 2-week stand down.
Oh, they're going to have to
self-isolate.
They won't be coming
2 weeks.
Anytime soon, will they?
No.
They can't.
We had 2 people in the United Kingdom listening on our visual stats on the map system. You can see who's listening around the world. We had a whole bunch of people in the US, and then I realized those 2 people in the United Kingdom were both just our friend Richard with 2 devices.
That's fantastic. So it's we've got such a huge, come on, say it's a huge listenership. Baboon Yodel Reality Hub, huge listenership, huge.
Yeah, your mom loves it.
Yeah, my mom loves it, and her friends also. So it's just fantastic. So now the other part of my question was that now what are you gonna do for fun now? I mean, if it's all gonna get closed down, and I'm just talking more fun. I'm not talking about Rob style, looking into yourself and finding the joy.
This is normal for me. This whole isolation thing.
Yeah, we were just saying some people really thrive off other people's energy in groups.
Yeah,
and then there's Rob.
Yeah,
he's a real introvert.
Yeah, well, I was saying, I don't know if I said it during our podcast, but I've gone through many phases of being on my own, sort of isolated and going through the processes and stuff. That's how I figure things out. And so it's kind of familiar territory. But then I was thinking about the people who don't know or haven't navigated that before in their life. They might be freaking out, and they're going to have to sit there and cope and find new aspects about themselves and go, holy shit, this is actually...
If you've never turned the TV off in your brain, and just listen to what's
chatter,
left, all that chatter, and you've just leave the wallpaper of thoughts screaming around your head all the time, and then just in that moment where you go to sort of really listen to yourself, you go to join another party or you go off and do something, you're poorly placed for this pandemic, because you will be sitting amongst yourself and you'll soon run out of things to do that distract you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a great time to read a book.
It is. I got a kickstart. I've been reading. I mean, last year I had a goal that I will read like 2 books every month. But in the end, I ended up reading around 27 books in 2019, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved it. Once you get into the group,
Do you actually read them, or did you do the Blinkist summary version of them?
No, I read
that's
the
you,
whole
Steve.
thing.
Shut up. I just read the Cliff Notes.
You read the Cliff Notes, and then then you say, okay, let's go out and talk about this book right away before I forget.
Yeah.
Well, that explains how knowledgeable you are and intelligent and well versed on so many topics.
Well, it could explain it.
Are we talking about Steve?
No,
we're talking about you because you've read
me.
so many. You read so many books. Can you outline some of these books, like any that stand out? Are they on one sort of theme or topic, or they're really wide variety of subjects?
So, what happens is that one topic starts, and then I find another one on that topic, and then I move on to another one. So, like last year, I read 3 books on the Pakistan-Bangladesh split in 1971. So I read about that.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 books I read about religion. There was about one was about why there is no God. And then there was the God Delusion I read as well.
Richard Dawkins?
Richard Dawkins. That's the second time I read it. It's a pretty good book. And then I read another one which was called Why Evolution is True, because it was kind of linked to the same topics.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then I read 3 Urdu books in my language. They were fiction, science fiction, you can say noir style detective books from my childhood. So I found 3 copies of it. I said, okay, I'm going to read them.
Great.
Science fiction Urdu.
Yeah, man.
Far out. I can't imagine certain. Okay, look, this really exposes my programming, and on our show we talk about the reality as you perceive it based on the way you've grown up and so forth.
Yeah.
I can't imagine science fiction in a language like yours.
Yeah, man. It's there.
It's
and
like I wouldn't even think that the people of your country would even find science fiction interesting. I mean, isn't that bizarre? Because I love science fiction, but I feel like it's very much a Western paradigm.
And I completely understand how you are thinking, but it's the way. But the thing is that bilingual people, trilingual people have like access to a couple other things. And then I went into the deep hole of Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote The Sapiens.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I read The Sapiens.
That one, yeah.
Fantastic book.
Didn't you have that as a book on tape?
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to that one.
As well.
I read. No. I didn't read it.
You listened to it. Yeah, but you were training for an overseas trip too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, that was the main reason.
Because whilst you were training, you were listening to it, right? You couldn't read at the same time.
No.
Yeah, Edamon did a huge trip overseas, Rob, where he walked up a mountain.
I know. I remember talking to him about it.
Yeah.
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 We went to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So yeah, these were the books. I mean, there was a time. There was August because I always note them down. August was filled with graphic novels. So I read Persepolis, Palestine, Safe Area Gorazde, and The Fixer. These were based on Bosnia, Palestine, and Iran. So that was fun. Yeah. So, and then when I went to Pakistan, I read like 6 books in like 2 months about Pakistan history because I got into this one of the authors that I like. He's a journalist. I never knew he wrote books. And when I found the books, I was like, holy shit. And then I started reading one. It was so easy to read. I read like 5 books. So it was great.
Yeah, but you've always been a reader, haven't you? I mean, you don't just pick up that many books if you're not a reader.
Yeah, I had a hiatus for a few years, and then I said I need to get this back.
Yeah, it's a good skill. It's good for the brain.
And I read really slow because it's not my first language. And the thing is that most of the books that I'm reading are nonfiction, so I'm making notes of them as well. So
making notes.
Yeah, because I have Evernote, and I have a section there, books, and each note, under each book note, I have like several points, like 5-6 pages of just single line points or just prompts to kickstart some thinking in my mind if I'm talking on the topic. So I've got that.
This is for Baboon Yodel.
No, that's per book when you read it, because Evernote's a really cool.
No,
app.
I mean taking those notes for information for.
No, Baboon Yodel just doesn't require me any kind of mental.
Okay.
That's apparent.
Yeah,
but no, but what you mean, I think, is when you're reading these books, you're taking notes about different books. But why would you do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. For what reason are you going to write a book yourself?
No. Well, I have no idea, but I write them down because sometime I'm thinking that you retain concepts, but you don't retain specific things.
Yeah.
So an example that I can give you right now is that I read a book recently about the history of everyone who's ever lived. It's called that, and it's a story about our genes, how genes map out our history, right? So there are specific things in there that I need to note down. I know how things work, but I need to kind of note it down. Then, according to our genes, how do we feel? That when was the first migration that happened from Africa to Europe, right? So if you're trying to write down like 7,000 years ago, or 300,000 years ago, or 1 million years ago, when you're reading a book, that number doesn't stay in your head. But if you note it down, you get back to it, that comes back again.
Yeah.
Right.
You must love detail.
It's to satiate something within you, right? You've gathered, you've had some takeaways from reading the book. You've gained some wisdom and some from it.
That is an extremely good point because
why else would you read the book? Yeah.
It really feels good when you write it down. It's like it feels like you kind of given it something, given the book something,
Yeah, I get it.
You haven't just read it and just, okay, I've read it and now it goes back. You kind of you've made it relevant to your life that is going to come in the future.
Yeah.
Do you do it because when you're in conversations at parties, you like to be able to quickly whip out a quote and go, well, actually, 2,782 years ago was the beginning of the Plesian era, and that's very specific, Ed. Yeah, well, I've actually been reading a very fascinating book about it, and
I know.
Now I realize why people don't invite me to places.
Yeah,
that's
hard
on
enough to get you on podcasts.
I know you're married, but that's on your Tinder profile, right?
Oh, yeah.
I actually wondered, because I think I heard you say this in a previous podcast of yours, there were words that you read but pronounced weirdly in English because you'd only ever learnt them by reading. What are the top 3 words or 5 words that you can remember like that?
Well, I remember, like, for a few years, I was not saying temperature correctly.
Oh.
Right? I was saying temperature. I was saying temperature, right? Rather than saying temperature. Right.
Yeah.
So, and because it was the first few years in my school, I was reading it as that. And I was writing it as that, and I thought I would pronounce it as it is written. And I did understand the concept around T and U and how the sound changes, but I was temperature. So I used to say, oh, my temperature is this. What is the temperature of that? So it was a weird thing. And I was like, this is a difficult word. But then I realized that, it's temperature. So there's a few things that are like that.
Wasn't there a thing with V's and W's?
For the V's and W's, that's an accent situation.
Great motor group, by the way.
Because
VW, yeah. Right, yeah. Or not. But go on.
Nazis.
Yeah, they were.
They're very good cars. So
you got it. Audis.
Yeah.
The Master Race produces a master car. So sorry, you don't want to evade that question.
That exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is that because we have just one sound for one letter used in. So we only have the V sound. We only have the V sound.
I see.
And the W sound is something else. W sound is there, but it is a different context for a W sound.
So virus never becomes virus. But
no, virus is always virus.
But weather could be weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So
my pet hate is when people say words and they're English speaking countries too, and they say them just so wrong, like mandatory instead of mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory. Yeah, mandatory, and mandatory is also a very Pakistani Indian way to say it. Right. I would say it. Yeah, initially I used to say that like people would say development.
That's
right?
Yeah. That's the all the wrong emphasis on the syllables there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like me saying
all the wrong emphasis on the syllables.
Yeah. It's like Stephen Brenton.
Yeah.
No,
and now that's an interesting cultural one too, because I think we put much of the emphasis on the first syllable. You're vaping. I just heard that.
Were you really?
Loud and clear. That was an intake whilst you listened. So you would say, it was like Brunton instead of Brunton. We often put the emphasis on the first syllable.
Yeah.
But props for anyone who's bilingual, because there's that whole joke when someone's trying to speak English and they're not speaking English that well, but they know another language. And you don't normally.
Yeah, I know nothing.
Yeah. So
and I mean, I think I do fine. I mean, I have good conversations with people and in-depth things to talk about, and I articulate them okay, and I do comedy as well. So I'm doing well. I think sometimes I feel I'm losing my touch with my Urdu a little bit. That's why sometimes I go back to reading in their language. So.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because you spend so much time in now an English-speaking country that your other language would suffer on some level, maybe because you're not using it.
Yeah, it does suffer. It does suffer in the sense of me being able to articulate complex thoughts.
Yeah,
it becomes harder and harder the more you step away from it in everyday language. So that's why sometimes I go back and I can say now that I can articulate a lot better in English as compared to Urdu. But I speak fluent Urdu, and if you give me 10 days in a Urdu environment, which is total immersion, I'll be back.
Yeah.
So just it's just one of those things. It's what's oh my goodness me!
What?
Usually our podcasts are like 35 minutes or something.
Well, that's the Reality Hub trap, actually.
Yeah.
We draw you into a black hole of distorted time, and you actually come out younger.
We often ask ourselves, what is time? And we try and deconstruct what time is.
Indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. But sometimes it's like Interstellar. You go in and you
Murph.
You come out and everybody is old or dead. So I might go up and my girlfriend, my wife might be.
She might be your girlfriend again.
Yeah, back in time.
You've gone back.
85 years old and your girlfriend again.
Yeah. So man, it was great to have you guys on Baboon Yodel.
Thank you.
We should do it again.
We definitely
hopefully the sound comes out fine, because I'm just using a regular sound. I don't have a good quality Joe Rogan style mic, so
I think it's going to be good. It's going to be pretty good. You're using a headset and we're on our professional gear and in our studio, but you're coming through loud and clear. So I'm sure the 13 Chilean listeners will appreciate it.
Yeah, and the thousands in the US which are listening to us right now.
Indeed.
Love you, baby. So but if the sound comes out fantastic, this is a great. We don't need Zencastr to do it, right?
No, Zencastr is probably better, but using our gear, which is for anyone who cares about podcasts, we use the Rodecaster in here, and it allows for a channel to come in by phone, or in this case by FaceTime audio.
Oh, yeah, fantastic! So that's great. When am I on Reality Hub next?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should do the reality of arranged divorces and have a follow-up to the reality of arranged marriage. Because you were episode 9, and we're up to episode 22 now. So
I'm one of the old school original top 10 persons.
That was a top episode too. The reality of arranged marriage with comedian Edamon. That's the exact title if you're looking for it on Reality Hub. But
realityhub.love.
Let's have you back sooner rather than later.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Why don't you break the DEFCON 4 conditions, break your bail conditions, and don't tell your lovely wife, who is a medical professional, that that you've gotten out of your your hermetically sealed Tupperware container and come down to the studio.
And tomorrow, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield will be coming on TV and say, we have had 3 more cases.
Just 3?
3 more cases.
And Avondale.
And Avondale, apparently, it's a famous podcast. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, we would happily probably take that cold and flu symptom and go, we're free to roam now.
Yeah, so we can do it through Zencastr as well, or other avenues as well. But I'd love to come back, and I'll like you guys to come back as well, because it's nice and nice to do like a light and heavy discussion together. Because our baboon yodel people might get bored of me just talking about crap and shit and poop and Tom Hanks, but we do good with other news as well. But
you do.
A different brain is good.
Well, true. Well, Rob and I share the same brain, depending on who's talking. But it is an honor to be on your show and raise the IQ level of what's discussed, and also to have you on our show and to lower the bar. So thank you for that.
That's fantastic. But I do think that Rob is a smarter, more handsome brain, I guess.
Than anyone I know.
Thank you for that.
Anyone you know.
Yeah.
Man, those eyes, come on.
They're to die for.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You gotta baboon yodelers. You gotta listen to the Reality Hub podcast on realityhub.love or any other podcast place
that actually matters.
And listen to that sound, and you will know that the body that sound is coming from, and you will just be inspired for life. And at the other end, you will hear Stephen Brunton doing his
I agree.
Yeah. Those which are very good and very necessary.
They are.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So thank you guys for calling me and reminding me that you guys were guests on my podcast.
Thanks for starting off thinking, I'm on your show. No, we're on your show.
All right, that's great. So if you're gonna just, I've plugged you guys, but do you want to plug a little bit more so that people, if Maybe
look,
the Chileans will come.
Yeah, look, if we can just get those 13 Chileans on our show, it would truly be an honor to have them listen. Yeah, like Ed said, the name of our show is Reality Hub, and our website is realityhub.love. That's LOVE.
Indeed.
All right. Hey,
you said it.
It's been great to be on your show, bro.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you for coming through.
Pleasure.
Just whatever it is that you guys do over there, just send me the recording and I'll put it. I'll put it out.
We'll have it with you in 10 minutes.
All right.
Enjoy the night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Bye. God, I don't think we could ever do that show again. It was terrible. Yeah.